What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to break down my all-new custom 6.5 PRC. But wait. I have a 22 Creedmoor. I used the 22 Creedmoor all fall. So why am I going back to a 6.5 PRC? Well, you see, the 22 Creedmoor isn't legal in all 50 states or provinces. First and foremost, the 6.5 PRC is probably one of the most universal cartridges out there. From small game, varmint stuff, coyotes, to all the way up to elk, moose, all types of bear for that matter. 22 Creedmoor is absolutely devastating. From the spring bear, my wife's buck, my mule deer, lastly, my whitetail. Absolutely devastating. These wound channels from this 80 grain Hornady ELDX were unparalleled, basketball size to volleyball, beach volleyball type size wound channels. Or maybe not wound channels, but at least bruising. That buck that I took at 750 yards was absolutely eye-opening. But I wanted something more big game ready. The 22 Creedmoor in the right hands is absolutely devastating, but not everyone can shoot it like it needs to be shot. You know, number one always beats number two, and number one is accuracy, shot placement. Number two is budget error. So maybe you're not a great shooter, maybe you want something a little bit bigger for that budget error, you hit an animal a little bit far back, it's better to have something a little bit bigger. Bigger isn't always better, but budget error gives you a little bit more allowance for those less than ideal shots. So let's break it down, starting with the components. First and foremost, I have to talk about the Muley Freak Wombat Action by Stiller. We have our own subset of serial numbers. This one just happens to be MF0004. It's skeletonized, it's 23 ounces. It's, in my opinion, the best action on the market. And I've used them all, but this one takes the cake. It's awesome. I'm gonna show that to you right now, breaking it down with the action. There you have it, the Muley Freak Wombat Action. Wow, this thing's incredible. It's just American right there. Yeah, 23 ounces, 6.5 PRC. It's painted to match the flat dark earth of this Nightforce Annex 8. So let's break it down. The action first. Muley Freak Wombat Stiller Action. A proof 24-inch full Sendero barrel, 8 twists, so it's gonna shoot those 143 grains ELDXs and those 147 grain ELDMs very, very well. I say this all the time. The right twist rate with the correct bullet makes all the difference in the world. Travis makes a phenomenal ghost brake. I didn't put a brake on this because we're gonna shoot a suppressor. Why a 24-inch barrel and then an R30 suppressor by KGM? Isn't that gonna be too long? No, it's not. Well, not for me. I still think it's super backpackable. It's gonna balance out this rifle exceptionally well. You can change the blowback on the ports, so I can come up with a custom solution for the blowback, how I want that gas to blow out at the end of the barrel. Still fit the Muley Freak rifle cover very well, which that's obviously a big bonus. As you can see right here, we're gonna show you that the Muley Freak rifle cover will fit a 24-inch barrel with a 7-inch suppressor. Fits the girth of the suppressor, no problem. All right, there you have it. I just wanted the extra energy. I wanted that extra velocity. Every time I went to a 20-inch barrel or a 22-inch barrel, I feel like I'm missing that extra speed. And if we've learned anything with the 22 Creedmoor by now, speed absolutely kills. You don't want to overbore things like some of those Weatherby or Nosler cartridges, but speed absolutely kills, and we've proven it time in and time again. So let's talk about Travis's KS1 stock. This is the Denali Ambush paint job. He Cerakoted the action to match the Denali color in the stock and also to kind of match the flat dark earth of this scope. Now this is the Mil XT reticle. I'm an NRAD guy. Why? Because I feel like there's less dialing. But why MRAD? Because it's less dialing, and I feel like it's inherently more accurate. But how does that make sense? I just feel like it's easier to get a more correct zero with MRAD. So 4-32 by 50, Mil XT reticle. This gun is really good looking. Obviously, Travis, he puts an arc rail on all this. We got a pick rail here at the end of the stock of the forearm. Standard 90-degree bolt throw here. Pistol grip here. I've really enjoyed the pistol grip because I can get a consistent grip. Consistency is key at everything, just like archery. You want to get to your right placement every single time, the right feel, same trigger pull, and everything right there so that you can be accurate. Now, a Hawkins Precision bottom metal, Trigger Tech special trigger. Obviously, Travis colored these up to match the scope and the Denali color from the stock. Let's screw on the suppressor and see how it shoots. Standard 5/8 to 24 thread pitch. Let's go ahead and thread that on. Okay, so why the R30 over the R30K? I'm not saying there is, but I would like to test the difference between the R30 and the R30K. I was shooting the R30K on the 22 Creedmoor. I'm gonna put the R30 on this one. I might change them. I might keep them. We'll see if there's a big difference. There's definitely a difference in the weight and the length. This one is, the R30 is 12 ounces. It's made of titanium and it's 7.32 inches long, I believe, which is very long.
Huh?
So what is the benefit of a custom rifle? They're not cheap. They're expensive. Many would say it would be sub-MOA accuracy. You know, can 1-inch groups kill animals? Absolutely. But 1-inch groups aren't sexy. So let's take this guy to the range. Let's get it bore-sighted. Let's get it on paper. Let's see how it groups, and then let's stretch it out. Here at Smith & Edwards, I need a target, some batteries, and I need an easel for my daughter's iPad here so we can look through the long shot camera. Here we go. Which one do we want? We got a 12-inch by 12-inch. We're gonna need to plug those measurements into the long shot camera, and that way we can get our minutes of angle measurement for our shot group. Woo, was $40, got it for $9.75. This store really does have everything. Now we need a battery and let's go. These, I believe, just stick. I'm gonna staple it for good measure. Got the long shot camera for groups. We got an easel, that daughter's iPad we were talking about. Let's sync the Wi-Fi up with the iPad. We'll be able to measure groups. We'll go set this up right next to the target, put it on the tripod. Kind of cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm just matching up this long shot video camera with the iPad, make sure it's a good angle, and also that I'm not gonna hit the camera. I don't know if you can kind of see what I'm looking at here, but target's in full frame here. Give me a good idea where I'm hitting. One thing that you need to be careful of with these direct thread suppressors is you got to make sure that you have this screwed on really tight. Now, as the barrel heats up and you've hand tightened this, if you will, I have seen them loosen up with the heat. Your point of impact will change. And so all of a sudden bullets are flying everywhere. You're like, what the heck happened? Check your suppressor. A lot of times these heat up, they can loosen up. So make sure that's on plenty tight. In this rifle, I'm going to be shooting Hornady Precision Hunter 143 grain ELDX. Now, all these boxes, if you can get in on that, they're from the same lot number, which means they're produced, manufactured, all within the same powder. So they should be really close, should be very similar. A lot of people think, gosh, why do I have this, $6,000 custom rifle if we're just going to shoot factory ammo? Because the factory ammo is that unbelievable. It's absolutely amazing. I have 6 children at home. I don't have a lot of time. I'm doing so many other things. I don't have time to hand load. As much as I'd like to, I don't have the time to hand load. So I'm gonna be dialing in this gun with a specific lot number, and all of them should be similar. I'm not just gonna start grouping with this rifle. I'm actually gonna shoot some fouling shots first. I'm gonna shoot 3 shots, foul it up, maybe shoot 5, before I even attempt to shoot it on paper. Cut barrels, production barrels, any barrels for that matter, you should always shoot fouling shots so you can kind of break in that barrel. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm not gonna clean it. I'm just gonna shoot it. Some barrels don't need to be cleaned. We'll see how this barrel shoots and we'll determine if we need to clean some of that copper out of the bore. But every barrel is different. Every barrel manufacturer is different. We're gonna see how this one does without cleaning it. Before I do anything though, I'm gonna take out this bolt. I am going to look down the bore and line it up. So what I'm looking at right now is I can see that red bullseye
right through the center of my bore. And as I look into my crosshairs, I'm way high. So I'm gonna bring that way down. And now, without touching the gun, my crosshairs are matching up with that red bullseye. But again, I'm not trying to group anything right now. I'm just trying to shoot some fouling shots through this. So this is all for sport, fun and games. I'm just gonna get that barrel dirty right now. Put the bolt back in. It's the sound of freedom right there. Now, again, I'm not trying to group, I'm not trying to shoot, I'm simply just firing shots through. The thing I'm really interested in seeing right now is I want to see how this gun is balanced. It's 24-inch barrel, just over a 7-inch suppressor with this R30K. I've got this Night Force on it, so it's a good mid-weight rifle. Even though it has light components, you still want a rifle that's shootable, and that's why I wanted to build another 6.5 PRC. Is build something extremely shootable. So we're just going to shoot at the other target there. I don't need ear protection, but I do it just because I got kind of a bad ear that rings, so I'm just going to shoot. Now, what I'm going to be watching for or trying to pay attention to is just recoil. I want to see how well this rifle handles and how she recoils. She definitely snorts a little more than the 22 Creed. It's quiet though. Honestly, I feel like the R30K is a little bit quieter. I think it is. That was quiet. 2 shots down. Go another one. Give that barrel a minute to cool off, and I'll shoot 3 more shots. All right, shoot 3 more shots here. I'm gonna try it without the earplugs just to see how this R30K does, or R30. Now that we have fouling rounds through the rifle, 7 rounds in total, we are going to get it on paper, sight it in, and then we'll group it. So we'll do that now. Target distance, 100. Group size, we're gonna go MOA inches. Done, group, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I'm setting reference points for this 0. Barrel's cooled off some. Okay. So what's kind of cool about this long shot is it tells me my adjustment. It can go MOA or MRAD. So it's asking me for 0.92 adjustment windage to the left, it looks like, and then down just over 1/2 mil in elevation. So 1/2 mil in elevation. I like to look at it just to make sure I'm twisting the right way, just for reference. Down. Now right. Let's try that. Here we go, shot number 2 after the adjustment.
Almost perfect. Had a little brain fart, but almost perfect elevation now. And now I just need to bring it back. Okay. Definitely some added recoil over the 22 Creedmoor. I've been used to, since this last spring, shooting the 22 Creedmoor. Now jumping back into a 6.5 PRC, there's definitely a little more snort, a little more recoil. Staying in the shot will be interesting to see what the difference is between the 22 Creedmoor and the 6.5 PRC at distance. Bullseye, baby. Oh, a little closer. Should get me there. I did that Browning X-Bolt video. I was shooting 1,000 yards after 3 shots, but I wasn't trying to break a barrel in. I'm trying to literally clear this cut barrel, and you should do it with all barrels again. Clear this cut barrel, foul it up, and really hone in on what I can do for grouping. Oh yeah! So I got my left to right. I've got my elevation. I'm gonna let this barrel cool down a little bit because I'm starting to get a heat mirage off the suppressor, which is making the target really hard to see and really blurry. So I'm gonna wait for this suppressor cool down, wait for the barrel cool down. I'm gonna shoot 2 more, confirm I have 0, 0 my windage, 0 my elevation, then we're gonna group it. Oh, sucker's freaking hot. Smoking Joe Friday. Put your hand on that. I guarantee you could cook an egg on that. Here, just put your hand on there for YouTube to see.
Just put a little piece of bacon on there?
I mean...
Oh yeah, that's warm.
Grab it like that.
When you put your fingers on there for a second, you feel it.
Freaking hot. Yeah, let's give that a minute to cool down.
So we're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're 10 down. Like I said, a lot of manufacturers, every barrel's different, but you know, maybe cleaning this after a box might make sense. I'm not gonna. Maybe when I get home I will. But again, I've had people get home, their gun shoots amazing. They get home, they clean their barrel, they clean their gun, they want to make it look nice, it's something in their head, I don't know. They go out hunting and they miss high. Don't ever go into the field with a clean gun. Watch it explode. I get asked all the time why I shoot proof barrels. So the science behind carbon is it's up to 64% lighter than traditional steel. Dissipate heat quicker, so thus you're supposed to mitigate that point of impact shift as your barrel heats up. So this barrel's definitely hot. I would consider 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 rounds high volume fire. It just needs to give it a break. Just let it cool off, especially if you're trying to show a group and you really want to see how your new purchase shoots. So we're gonna let it cool off and then we're gonna group it. One thing after I shot some volume, I'll go here, tug on this, make sure that it hasn't loosened up, and we're good to go. So it's cooled down quite a bit. We're gonna shoot another bullet and see how she does. We're gonna go down just a hair. Wow. Those are 2 bullet holes right there. Let's see if I can put another one right in that spot. We're gonna give this a second to cool down and we're gonna shoot one more and see if I can stack 3 in the same hole. So I've got 2 in the same hole right now. We'll see if we can stack 3. I was shooting for this other hole and stacked it right in that hole too. We're gonna let this gun cool down. We're gonna shift and go down to our bottom left diamond and really get an idea for how this thing's grouping. I am going to go with the left bottom diamond and shoot 3 shots and see how they stack. Now, I have no doubts that this rifle will put a sub MOA group on the board, but can I? All right, uno, dos. Same, hold that one. Quarter MOA group right there, that's pretty incredible. And I feel like I could have shot better. Like I feel like that second shot wasn't great, but literally, I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. Oops, oops, literally right on top of each other. There you go. If you take off the first bad shot and just measure it, that's about a quarter MOA group. You add the third shot, the second shot, which was my worst shot, you're looking at 3/4 group. So I think dialing this in, you're definitely gonna be shooting quarter to half MOA, no problem. So I'm gonna shoot some more rounds. I'm actually gonna pull out this Garmin right now. It'd be interesting to see what speeds we're getting. 5 to 15 inches away. Garmin needs to be behind the gun. I'm interested to see what speeds we're getting. I'm just gonna shoot into the dirt. I'm not gonna do anything on paper here. New session, okay, rifle, yes. Enter the weight of your projectile, 140, okay, 140, 3 grains, okay, okay. Rifle alignment, 5 inches to the right, behind the muzzle, okay, she's ready to go. Got the Garmin set up here on the bench. We're gonna do 3-shot spread, see what we have for velocity. So again, 24-inch barrel. This is suppressed, that does change things. Box is saying 2960 out of the muzzle. So let's see what Mr. Garmin says. 2958, wow. Hornady, good job, that was pretty close. 2965. Oh, we got one over 3,000 there, which isn't terrible, but it's freaking cooking for factory ammo. 3,038 there. 2941. So that one was a little slower. 2968. So there's got to be a way to give it an average here. So I found out how on the Garmin to figure that out. Anyways, I got a standard deviation and an extreme spread. So standard deviation is 20.5. That means from round to round, the average over those 5 shots was 20.5 feet per second. The extreme spread, you'll remember I had that one at 3,003.8. Extreme spread is 62.6. So I'm just gonna average that out. It should give me my average here. Average is 2967.3. So what I'll do, I'll plug that in my ballistics act. I use Hornady Ford off. I'll plug that in here. I'll plug in my other metrics, and we'll stretch this thing out to 1,000 yards, and maybe we'll shoot one more group just to see if I can do a little better job. But anyway, here we go. So I got this little flashbang, called a flashbang. I've never used one before, but we're gonna go put it on the target at 1,025, and we're gonna see if we can ring still and see it light up, so it'll be easy for the camera to pick up. So let's go run this up there right now. Oh, no. We got the flashbang installed. Now let's go stretch out the new 6.5 PRC. This is the funnest part about this whole thing. Typing in your new rifle in the Hornady app. Custom, Muley Freak, 6.5 PRC. So the Hornady app, it has all these built-in bullets, so you don't have to type in your bullet length, diameter, all that fun stuff. Edit my environment. So this is where we type in the velocity here, 2967. But before we do that, we got to set 0, folks. Got those loosened. Gonna tighten them now. Now these are supposed to be at 4-inch pounds, so you're not gonna want to tighten these very much, and you certainly don't want to strip these. Here you go. All right, 0 stop set. Let's ask Hornady what we should dial to in this environment. 1,025, MRADs 6.72. Okay, I'm going middle plate, middle of plate. Indicator. Shoot another one. That was fun. Why is that so fun? Three impacts at 1,000 yards. I ran this chrono again just so I could see where I was at. That last shot was 29.91. Session summary here will tell me what I was at. 41.5 extreme spread, standard deviation of 16.2. So that just got even better, more consistent. That just basically tells me if I'm gonna be shooting longer distances, it's a good thing because I'm gonna be more accurate. So, gonna group it one more time. I've got it sighted in, I've got the 0 set. This gun is balanced extremely well. Dissipates heat, hardly any recoil. Wombat, smooth as butter. Man, Travis, you're outdone yourself. Okay, let's group it one more time, see how I can group it. Oop. Forgot. Make sure you dial to 0. Don't show that. Okay, now I'm gonna stack them on top of that hole right there. Just over a half-inch group, 0.55 inch group. I feel like I could shoot a little bit better than that, but my barrel was a little hot. I was getting a little bit of mirage there from the can, but pretty good overall. I'd like to retire this thing for the day. Maybe come back and shoot another group, see how it does, but overall, I'd say it's a pretty good group. And Travis, just for the record, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. That is now 35 rounds through the new 6.5 PRC.
Wow, that gun shoots fantastic. You'll see I shot a 2-shot group, 0.33, shot another 3-shot group at 0.55. The rifle's very well balanced. Suppressor does a good job bucking the heat, recoil, and this R30 does a good job suppressing the sound. Stretched out to 1,000 yards. Clearly the sucker's a shooter. Now, I just want to say, I'm no stranger to the 6.5 PRC. When I first started on this YouTube journey, I killed one of my biggest bulls ever, a big 7x7 with Tyler. Bull went down in seconds, and I shot another whitetail in that same season at 791 yards and folded him. Smoked him. Got about 2 miles to go. Got the entire deer on my back, boned out the back 2/4. The 6.5 PRC is a great cartridge. I'm gonna compare the 6.5 PRC and the 22 Creedmoor. Now, these don't deserve comparisons, and I'm only comparing them because I've been shooting the 22 Creedmoor since last spring. The 6.5 PRC at 400 yards has 1,800 foot-pounds of energy, where the 22 Creedmoor at 400 yards has 1,107 foot-pounds of energy, so it has more energy at distance. Now, the velocity of the 6.5 PRC at 400 yards is 2381, where the 22 Creedmoor at 400 yards is 2497. So the 22 Creed is faster, but there comes a consequence to speed, and that is barrel life. Now, most people never shoot 300-400 rounds out of their rifles. This might not matter, and you need to factor that in when you're trying to decide what caliber to shoot. I feel like the 6.5 PRC, 6.5 Creedmoor, 7 PRC, 300 PRC, you're all going to get similar barrel life. But for the sake of the exercise, the 6.5 barrel life, you're going to get 1,400 to 1,800 rounds. That's if you're shooting 3-shot groups, allowing your gun, barrel, what have you, to rest, cool off. Now, if you're shooting more rapid groups, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, I would imagine that you're gonna run through a barrel and lose accuracy quicker. Whereas the 22 Creedmoor, you're going to get 1,100 rounds. Now, if you're a coyote hunter, you might go through that in a season, 2 seasons. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how many coyotes you're shooting and how much target practice you're doing. I don't know. Those are 2 things to weigh in when you're trying to decide what to do. But I feel like the 6.5 PRC is one of the most universal cartridges out there, from small to mid-game. Now, I've heard a lot of guys say, I'll just shoot coyotes with the 6.5 PRC. Now, I will say this. Compared to probably your 300 Rum, your 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC, you're like, oh man, the 6.5 PRC doesn't have any recoil. But I will say this. This gun is very well balanced. And I noticed there was enough recoil that I noticed it over the 22 Creedmoor, which is kind of interesting because I don't consider myself recoil shy, but at the end of the day, none of us really like recoil. It's definitely got more snort than the 22 Creed. Still very fun to shoot. I was still able to stay in my scope, watch impact. There was a few times that recoil kicked me out of the scope, but I was able to quickly get back into it, especially on some of those longer shots. The 22 Creed or the 6.5 PRC. Both are great rounds. It just depends on what you're looking for. I know people are killing some big animals with the 22 Creedmoor right now. So I know what you're thinking, Eric, but what about the 270?
Why are you running?
The 6.5 PRC still outperforms the likes of the 270. And it's a modern cartridge, which there's going to be more brain, more tech, more knowledge that goes into this thing. The velocity of the 270 with 145 grain ELDX is going at 2970, so it's got it by 10 feet per second. But where the 6.5 PRC really starts to surpass it is when you start to get to that 200, 300, 400 yard range. The velocity of the 270 at 400 yards is 2308 versus 2381 of the 6.5 PRC. The energy at 400 yards is 14 foot-pounds of energy, where the 6.5 PRC is 1,800 plus. Now, it's close. It's close. Not to say that the 270 isn't tried and true. The 270's arguably killed more mule deer and elk out west than maybe even the likes of the 30-06, but maybe not the 30-30. Irregardless, the 270 is still stellar. The 6.5 PRC still outperforms it. Like I said, one of the most universal cartridges out there, 6.5 PRC precision rifle cartridge. There's more attention to detail that goes in these custom builds. This isn't a piece of metal that's put on a run of a production line with a bunch of factory workers putting together the same rifle over and over and over and over again. This is a custom built, custom cut barrel with a custom action that has been trued along with the barrel and hand painted and hand bedded. Inherently, it's going to shoot better. It just depends on how well you can shoot it. Obviously, you saw how well I was able to shoot with factory ammo. Imagine what you can do with a custom load where your extreme spreads are 30 or less. Hold up. Hold up. Wait. I forgot one very important thing. I didn't weigh it. With the simple barrel cap thread, this gun weighs in at 9 pounds, 1 ounce. With the suppressor, it's 9.81 ounces. So there's a correction there. I was under the assumption this was 12 ounces. This is only 8 ounces, so even better. Ultimate midweight build. There you go. So in conclusion, the 6.5 PRC covers the gamut of big game. From small game to large game, even up to elk, moose, and I would dare say even brown bear. It promotes high BC bullets, low recoil. You can find ammo on the shelf all over, which that's a huge point I haven't even spoken to. The fact that you have ammo availability. It does everything. I initially thought the word was utilitarian, but I feel like that's kind of an ugly word. So that's why I went with universal. Yes, I said it. The 6.5 PRC is the most universal hunting cartridge out there. Here you have it, guys. If you're looking to build one of these, 6.5 PRC is a great caliber. You can't go wrong with it. It'll cover the gamut. So subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave us a comment, and we'll catch you on the next video.